In 10 minutes, ladies and gents, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the history of Wembley and a little bit about the architecture, because it's quite an important building. And then I'm going to give you a few moments to have some pictures, and then we'll take you backstage outside of the sun, and I'll show you some areas that we wouldn't normally get access to. So who's been to Wembley before? We got any repeat offenders? 2 of you, 3? Lovely, just a few of you. Well, welcome then, most of you, to Wembley Stadium. What do you think? It's good? It's okay? Thumbs up from America and Germany? Yep, good. Belgium's happy? Good. It's sick? It's okay? Was that the okay? Good. I'm going to take you right back to the beginning. Wembley has 2 histories, really, I always like to think. We have the original Wembley, which stood on this spot. That opened in 1923. And wasn't called Wembley, it was called the Empire Stadium. And it was part of a big exhibition that London was hosting to show off around the world all of its new buildings. And we had something called the Empire Stadium. It took 300 days to build, which wasn't really long at all. And it cost £750,000 back in the early 1920s. It was famous for loads of stuff. It was famous for the '66 World Cup that I showed you earlier. It was famous for the 1948 Olympic Games. It was famous for a man called Muhammad Ali. Do you know him? Yeah. He had a boxing match down here against a British boxer called Henry Cooper. We had a man called Evel Knievel. He was a stuntman, and on a motorbike, he drove up a ramp, flew through the air over 13 double-decker buses, landed. Well, he broke his hip. I don't know why I told you that story. It was famous for Live Aid in the mid-80s. You're all far too young to remember that. It's a big pop concert we had here. But really the big thing that old Wembley's famous for, and it's why this gentleman's come all the way from Belgium. He's a big fan. He comes every year. It was the Spice Girls reunion tour of 1996. He's the head of the Belgium Spice Girls fan club, so any questions, do ask him. We closed the old Wembley in the year 2000. It was 77 years old, and if you looked at it, you would say, oh, it doesn't look very nice. It looks very old. It's falling apart. So the Football Association, the FA, decided, why don't we knock it down and build a bigger and better Wembley? And that's exactly what they did. Now, just remember those 2 facts for me. The old Wembley took 300 days, cost 750,000. This Wembley took 5 years to build and cost £750 million this time. So it's a bit more expensive. But it's 2.5 times bigger than the old Wembley used to be. And we've got 3 world records, which we're very proud of. World record number 1, in fact, you're sitting on them, it's the seats. We've got 90,000 seats in total, which actually makes us the largest stadium in the world where all of the seats are covered. There are bigger stadia, of course, but they are open to the elements. We're the largest covered stadium in the globe, and we're right here at Wembley. 90,000 seats. They tell me that if you were to line them up in one straight line, it would reach from here, and it would reach for 54 kilometres, which is about from here to a place called Southend-on-Sea. And if you look, the seats are broken into 3 levels. Each level of seats has the same amount of seats that you would find in a football stadium of its own. So just the bottom level alone has the same amount of seats that you would find in Tottenham Hotspur's old ground, White Hart Lane. The middle section, where we are, the same amount of seats that you would find at Queen's Park Rangers ground in West London. And then up there, you've got the same amount of seats that you would find at Chelsea's ground, Stamford Bridge. So 3 football stadia on top of each other. World record number 2. You probably saw it on your way in. Did you see the archway right above us? Yeah? We can't see it from here. You can just see it poking out the glass. But it's the longest roof structure in the entire world. 300 metres in length, 100 metres high. You could roll the London Eye underneath it. And it holds up the roof. That's its job. So if you think about it, you could hold the roof up using 2 different methods. The first method, you could prop it up from inside using pillars. The second method, you could support it using an arch from the outside. And we chose that one. That way, if you look, you don't have any obstructions, no pillars, no columns. Wherever you're sat, you get a really nice unobstructed view of the pitch. So that's what the arch does, it holds up the roof. That's our second world record. And our third world record is really the most important one. Please take this back to Argentina and to India and to Belgium for me and Spain. Are you ready for this fact? You're going to love it. In fact, we should have a round of applause when I tell you. Wembley Stadium has more toilets than any other building in the entire world. We're very proud. I know you're jealous, Ireland. I know you're jealous. If I were to give you £1 coin for every single bathroom at Wembley Stadium, this afternoon you will be going home with £2,618 in your back pocket. Loads of toilets, hundreds of thousands of toilet rolls. I get asked at least once a day, have we ever flushed them all at once? I don't think we have. We must try that one day. But that is our third and final world record. Largest stadium that's covered, longest roof structure in the world, and more toilets than any other building. Going back to that roof, you probably know this, it's quite a well-known fact, but the roof can open or close depending upon the weather. This side of the roof is fixed. That means it doesn't move anywhere. So the north side, if you're sat on the north side, you'll always be covered. All the movement comes from the south side. And in fact, as you can see, it's wide open today. If we were to close it, that whole plate on the left comes right over. And it covers the people in the east end. This plate comes right over, covers the people in the west end. And the section in the middle would come out just enough to cover the seats over on the south end. We don't bring the roof over all the way. We always leave a big hole above the pitch because it's really important that that pitch gets lots of sun, gets lots of rain, and gets lots of air. Those are the three things you need to keep it nice and green. We do cheat. We do have sprinklers if it's not raining. We do have fans if it's not very airy, not very windy. And these white things are lights. So at night time, we can make it rain, we can make it windy, and we can make it sun, all in the evening when the sun goes down. So we can keep it constantly green and that grass constantly growing. Now, in the summer months, we close for about 5-6 weeks because we turn from a sporting venue into a music venue. And you've come on a really good day because the first 15 rows of those seats are removed for our music section, and we build a stage down there. We allow people to stand on the pitch and they can watch Ed Sheeran, U2, whoever's playing. And then after the music season, we have to put the seats back, and that's exactly what they're doing today. That's why you can hear lots of drilling. They're putting back the seats. They've just reseeded the pitch, so we have a brand new pitch ready for our first game at the beginning of August. And then everything will be ready. People are maintaining, people are painting areas, replacing things. We're getting everything ready for the new football season. So England will play here about 6 times a year, but we'll also have about another 40, 45 events that nothing to do with football. So we have rugby, rugby league, rugby union, NFL. We have all sorts of weird and wonderful events here to keep the bills paid.